2024 has been a chaotic year for airline travel. There was the door that flew off the plane midair that halted the production of the 737 MAX, the woman who stowed away on a flight to Paris without a ticket, and my personal rock bottom, the Delta CrowdStrike meltdown.
Yes, I witnessed your journey from afar and it was painful.
My cat is still scarred from flying.
This year also featured the Boeing plane engine that sprouted flames, another Boeing that lost a tire after takeoff, and just last week, a plane heading to North Carolina had to make an emergency landing with just one engine because a bird flew into the other engine and destroyed it.
Yeah, that would have been scary to be aboard.
So obviously, because of all of the travel craziness and all of these headlines, people are more hesitant to travel. Flying is still considered a super safe way to travel, and this year is no different. We're just seeing more coverage. There's actually a 1 in 13.4 million chance of dying in a plane accident.
It's still hands down the safest form of transportation. We don't even want to give you the driving stats for comparison because I wish I could forget those.
And with a record-breaking 119 million people expected to travel before the end of the year, which is actually more than half of all Americans, 54 million of those are expected to fly. So we're going to take you through our Newsgirls Holiday Travel Survival Guide.
So if you're flying in the next couple weeks, be warned, the Friday and Sunday before and after Christmas will be the busiest days. So get to the airport extra early on those days.
Yes, even though I am one of those people that really hate to get to the airport early, I just hate waiting around.
Well, sadly, that is unavoidable. But there have been some updates recently that might make the whole experience, a little better. So just a few days ago, United announced that it's the first airline to use customers' AirTags to locate lost luggage.
Basically, if you have an AirTag in your bag, United will have a share feature on their app so you can share your AirTag location with United. And so if you lose your luggage, it's easier for a representative to track the bag. And the link to tracking the bag actually deactivates in 7 days.
And while 99% of luggage isn't lost, this will come in handy in those rare instances, and every major airline plans to implement AirTag tracking in the next coming months.
Another really big change implemented by the transportation department after all the delays and complaints from flyers because of the outages and strikes and COVID flying is a new rule requiring airlines to give prompt automatic refunds to passengers of delayed flights as of October 28th.
And we finally have a universal definition for significant delay. So for domestic flights, that's 3 hours. And for international flights, it's 6 hours. So if your flight is delayed that much or longer, airlines are now required to automatically refund you in cash or to the original form of payment within 20 days.
Yeah, so you don't have to talk to a representative and track airlines on the phone. You just get it automatically. You also get a bag refund if your bag has been significantly delayed, or a refund for Wi-Fi or a specific seat if those end up becoming unavailable. And this was interesting. You also get a refund if your flight changes and your new itinerary adds more scheduled connections, or if your new itinerary makes you depart or arrive to a different airport than the original, you get a refund.
And we have Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg's relentless work to hold airlines accountable for these changes. And I read a Times exit interview with him, and he said he almost always flies economy, which was a surprise to me. And his best travel tip is don't check a bag if you can help it.
And to give us some more holiday travel tips, we're speaking to Madison Blancafleur, who's the managing editor of The Points Guy. So The Points Guy recently published a holiday travel survey with a market research firm. What were your guys' findings?
Yeah, so we published a poll with the Harris poll, and we found that 51% of US adults plan on traveling during this holiday season. I know, which is crazy. And half of that half, so about 55% of those travelers plan on flying. So a lot of people are about to be hitting the airports over the next few weeks. We also found that a lot of people are really interested in, pricing and deals. That was a big priority this holiday season. I think a lot of people are, feeling it in their wallets and want to get the best deal possible when they are flying to visit family.
And we know flying can be so stressful during the holidays, especially when it's as busy as it's about to be. So what are the Points Guys' best tips to make it less stressful, easier, more enjoyable?
Yeah, so the biggest thing, if you haven't already downloaded the app for the airline you're flying, definitely do that before you head to the airport. I think most airlines, certainly all of the major ones in the US, have their own app, and you can actually handle a lot of the travel day, logistics through that app. Make sure that you reserve your airport parking in advance so that way you don't have to deal with it the
Yeah.
morning of. I have a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow morning. Yeah,
Oh.
you can bet I will be booking my Uber tonight before I go to bed.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also have an early flight, so I'm gonna do that too.
So me and my boyfriend are always arguing over like how early to get to the airport. So what is the points guys like official statement on how early you need to get to the airport during like holiday season?
As much as I hate to say it, as someone who likes to get to the airport with as little time as possible before my
Yeah.
flight, during the holidays, you really want to get there the actual like 2 hours in advance. Yeah, it's going to be so busy. There are going to be a ton of people traveling. If you have lounge access, that's great. You get some extra time in the lounge. If you don't, that sucks, but it is better to it's better to be there, in case anything goes wrong.
So true.
Yeah.
And what, like, God forbid something goes horribly wrong, what is the best way to contact the airline? Like, or what do you advise? How do you stay calm? What should you do?
I would definitely have sort of a backup plan in mind. So think about, if something goes wrong with my flight, like what am I gonna do? You can also call, which is honestly what I prefer to do. So like lots of people will like head straight for a ticket counter. And if you're the first person in line at that counter, that's great for you. If you're the 50th person in line at that ticket counter,
Yep.
um, it's kind of nuts. So I actually will get in line and then call.
A lot of people are traveling with gifts. So we've heard, checking in bags is not advisable. What is your tip on traveling with gifts?
Yeah. So if you are traveling with gifts, if you can get it in a carry-on, definitely get it in a carry-on. That way, like you have it with you. You don't have to worry about it being, delayed or lost or it falling off the conveyor belt at any point in time. Um, my biggest tip is don't wrap them. So if you're
Oh,
planning on traveling with gifts, don't wrap them because if you go through TSA and they need to look at what's wrapped,
Oh
all of that
no.
hard work goes out the window.
So we've all been racking up the credit card points with our holiday spending, buying gifts, maybe buying things for ourselves. And what would you say right now are the best deals for transferring credit card points to airline miles?
There are 3 or 4 big transfer bonuses right now. Actually, it's 3. And that is Amex to Virgin Atlantic Flying Club, which
Hmm.
is they've got a 40% bonus right now, which is huge.
Whoa.
And Chase currently has a 20% bonus to Air Canada Aeroplan. So if you want to go to, Vancouver or Montreal, that's a great option. Chase also has a transfer bonus to KLM Flying Blue, um,
Mm.
20%. Yep. And KLM Flying Blue, they do monthly promo like rewards. So if deal stack, find a good deal on promo rewards and then also use the transfer bonus, you can save even more.
There has been, as I'm sure you've heard, like so much crazy news about flying this past year, and people are kind of scared. So, what is your advice?
We hear so much in the news about the things that go wrong, and I think it's really important to remember that while those incidents are scary, flying is still one of, if not the safest way to travel. Statistically speaking, you are actually like in from your door to where you land, the safest part of your journey is when you are in the airplane. You are, more at risk actually driving to the airport than you are
Yeah.
you're in the plane. MIT actually recently published a study that showed that despite, everything we hear in the news, like flying has actually gotten safer over the years too.
Mm,
I think that sort of stuff really helps me put it into perspective. 45,000 flights take off approximately every day in the US. And yes, we hear about everything that goes wrong. If there is a specific aircraft that you want to avoid, when you book your flights, you can actually see what the scheduled aircraft is.
And so then one last question. What is the best way to give travel as a gift? Like, are there any tips for gifting it during the holidays?
You can usually always like book travel in someone else's name, but that gets more complicated when you're using points.
Yeah, like it seems like travel isn't the easiest thing to gift, and maybe
right.
it's more like get like print out like the location, a picture of where you want to go. I'm like, I'm gonna buy this when you like approve all the flights.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. I love giving experiences as gifts. Now, if you're going on the trip, so like if you're booking a trip for like your significant other, or a sibling or a best friend, and you're going on the trip with them, that's super easy because then you just buy two tickets. But I think it does get a little harder when you're booking like on behalf of.
Well, that was so helpful. Madison gave us some great tips that I will definitely be taking some of them. So Mabel, what are you doing for the holidays?
So usually I always go home to Los Angeles for the holidays, but this year we're going on a family trip to Switzerland. So my brother and I are like meeting my parents who are already there. So that'll be fun. And we're going to Switzerland because I don't even think I've told you, my parents went there for their honeymoon and it was their like 30th wedding anniversary last year. So we're kind of going there to like celebrate and spend the holidays there, which will be really fun. So I'm excited.
Are you going to where they went?
Yes, that'll be part of it. Like every time we go to the same like hotel that they stayed at and like stay in the same area. So it'll be cute. I'm excited.
That's so special.
Yeah. What are you doing for the holidays?
I am flying back to Wisconsin, which is actually a very magical time to be in Wisconsin. There's snow. It'll be a white Christmas on the lake. We can like go ice skating, and my dad makes like a skating rink in front of the house.
Oh, cute.
It's obviously super cold when I land. It will be 3 degrees.
Oh, 3. Okay.
It'll be winter wonderland. It'll be so fun.
Don't you also have like 9 cats in one house?
Only 5
Okay.
for this. Last summer we had 7, but
Right.
my brother is not bringing his cats, but I'm of course bringing my 2 cats, so there will be 5.
That will be a nice full house. So we've reached the last episode of the year, and we are so thankful for all of you for like joining and like listening to News Girls every week. This will be a year that we're just never going to forget.
Yes, and we have big plans for 2025. We will have some rerun episodes airing the next couple weeks, but we'll be back with a brand new episode on January 9th. So have a wonderful holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays, guys. Bye.